and gentlemen, another week, another edition of For the Love of Wrestling. This is the Flow Show, but I know, conspicuous by his absence, the loudmouth $2 champ himself is out in H-Town doing his thing, I guess, on the Young Baca tour or something. I don't know. His predictions don't matter because it's all about the predictions of the men that are in this room right now. What's going on? Mac Lowe, Brian Andrew, Quincy Jones, go. What is up? Obviously, this is like the go-home episode before we kick it off to Elimination Chamber, but we had some stuff going on this week, man. First of all, welcome back, Mac Lowe. How you been, man?
I'm good, man. Surviving.
I feel it. Hey,
the show's always better with Mac here.
Hey, as long as we ain't got 6 inches of snow, man, I think we cool. I think we be all right.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man. I'm just gonna rapid fire. Let's just do it, man. I mean, we never have a format for this show. Apollo Crews, how y'all felt about that, man?
It was good.
I thought it was a good look as well. I thought
it
because no lie, again, I didn't get a chance to talk so much at length about this last week with Baca. I liked what they did last week too, where it showed, he was trying. What's his name? Biggie was trying to do the what was it called? The open challenge for the IC title, and he like cut him off, and the whole like, man, just go back to catering. All that, like the way that they were actually going back and forth, I'm like, yo, they look like they really about to squabble.
It looked like a real fight, yeah.
Yeah, it really did. It really came off that way. So I enjoyed that, and then seeing, what they were doing this week, him and Shin, which I was like, yo, you really, damn, okay. As soon as I saw him with the stairs, I'm like, yo, you better hit E with those. You know what I mean? Don't let him tell you what to do. You go to the back now. Take a walk.
And I liked that angle because it makes it a reason for Apollo to feel that way, because it is kind of disrespectful. Like, I don't care who you are, bro. You don't tell me to go to catering. You know what I'm saying?
Especially so it gives if he's supposed to be my boy, right?
That's kind of rude, homie.
It's like I'm like, you gonna say that with the cameras on? Hold up, bro.
Like come on, dog. So I see why he would feel away. So it's immediate understanding of why he feels the way he feels. If you pile that on top of the fact that he has been kind of floating in obscurity for however long, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
and I think it's fun to see people just how comfortable somebody is as a heel. Like the way he was talking to him when
he was embracing that. Yeah,
like don't touch me, man. Like,
see, and that's the thing. It's the little things that like it's crazy because even if it had been whether from like a movie scene or some shit you saw like from World Star, you're like, oh, okay, he really don't fuck with. Like, you know what I mean? I really like the way it was delivered. I don't know who was the creative director behind that, but obviously, you got to work with some great artists, some actors to be able to pull it off the way they did. So hats off to both of them for real, because I was wondering where they were going to go with this. I was like, at first I was like, okay, so every time you try to do an open challenge, are you just going to pop up and ruin it? Or, what I mean? Like, how is this going to go?
Yeah.
I'd say he's forced his Big E's hand to try to, look for some revenge now.
Well, yeah, attempted murder will do that to a person,
bruh. and then, first of all, shout out to Big E with the TV dinner and the foot massage. I was like, yo.
Well, I was gonna say, like, if you think about it too, if we're trying to look at it from Apollo's point of view too, is Big E kind of has even like, I don't know how to put this, but like, we like it because we're into the New Day and we're into all this stuff that the New Day does and all this over-the-top stuff. But if somebody brought a couch to your match and was basically like showing off that he looks or appears to be better than you, you'd be annoyed by that too. Like, if anything, Big E kind of does very heelish stuff.
He's kind of patronizing a little bit,
And Apollo's just like fed up with it. And in any other storyline, this would have been like the fed up babyface trying to like,
I could see that because like Apollo's like, look, dude, I'm not one of your bits, bro. Like, stop treating me like one of. I'm not like the part of the Bootio thing. Like, you keep trying to make me out to be like one of your jokes. That's not what you know what I mean. I could see that, like, and it being like detrimental to his career because like you keep doing things that make me look like a joke. So now people are looking at me like a joke or continuing depending who you are. I'm not gonna sit there and put that out, but I mean. I like this because, with Apollo, we saw kind of like a turn of a new leaf when he was on Raw doing the United States Championship thing with an MVP. He was getting his chops up on the promo. I mean, not smiling as much. I mean, he was smiling, but he wasn't like, I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the worst.
So like, like no lie, I started feeling bad because before he won the United States Championship, they usually put out like your accomplishments or something, some type of fact whenever you would come out on SmackDown, and all it would say father of 2. And I'm like, okay, I'm not mad at that. Georgia. Yeah. It's like, I'm not mad at that, but for you to be like, and some people say this, like, oh, my 2 greatest accomplishments are my kids. But for you to be a wrestler, to be like, the only championships I got are like the ones that I helped father. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it was kind of one of those weird things, like for a while, even with Sasha when she came back, oh, her uncle was Snoop Dogg. I'm like, well, she's done more than that, than just even Seth Rollins, when he just came back and said he's engaged to Becky Lynch. I'm like, we breaking kayfabe around here, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what we doing? And so, like, for a while, I've been looking for. I've known Apollo Crews when he was Uhaa Nation, back when he was on the Indies. I've been looking at this guy for a while. Didn't know about his shortcomings on the mic with the promo stuff, but again, I feel like he's done well. He did better earlier last year with the the pandemic and stuff like that. He easily, and I don't say this as a diss, but he easily, with the amount of names that we saw high and low on that list, he could have been another person that didn't survive and not even been working WWE, but they decided to keep him. They saw something in him, which I'm glad they did. Obviously, Paul Heyman's been seeing something in him because he's been trying like start to stop like hell to get something going with him. So I'm liking this new edge, for lack of a better term, from from Apollo Crews. By the way, you hear Michael Cole accidentally called Big E Apollo,
and he said, "Sir."
Hey, at least he didn't call Kenny Omega the WWE champion, but
bruh,
face palm 5,000, bro.
Tell somebody get that grandpa, bro.
Bro, and like, see, for a while, people would make fun of JR, right?
JR, come on.
But then it's like,
Tony's just losing shit.
Bruh, because the only thing I'm thinking, I'm like, you wouldn't say WWE unless you had WWE on the brain, right? And I'm thinking like, well, what you thinking about?
When was the last time he did a WWE match where that would be like, I get it if he was like, he did one last week and then he got hired this week onto the show, but it's been over
like
2 years.
Like if he came from like the 15-year stint with WWE and then did like maybe a few months and then went right to AEW, okay, it's gonna roll off the tongue, but especially
he's been there for a couple years now, dog.
Yeah, when you transition from WWF to WWE, okay, cool, right? But no, like, bro, like it was one of those things where I was like, how did you do, like,
JR was watching NXT on his phone during the commercial breaks.
There must have been something. He signed up for the net. He got the network notification, the push notification.
he was like Undisputed ERA, dear. What?
He's like, what?
Kyle O'Reilly took what bump? What the?
He's like, hold on, let's take.
We need Steam to take a bump tonight.
No, seriously, like every time they go into picture, let's take a quick look at the counter programming. Oh shit, Kushida. Like, I could do that, bro. It was one of those things where I was like, fuck. I was like, they're never gonna forgive him for that, because I was like in my head, I'm like, I can immediately think like everyone was like hot at him for saying some shit like that. You know what I mean?
AEW could play off of it though. They're really smart about it.
They usually do. Yeah, they usually are able to. They're like, yeah, come to find out, we got to take JR off commentary this week and give him a field sobriety test, since we don't know if he was drunk on the job or something like that.
Something.
Because that dude, I was like, did he just? I rewinded it at least 3 times. I was like, he said it. He said it for sure. There was that meme. Did you see where they took the footage from? It's old. I even used it when they said the AEW was coming to WWF, and it was like, oh no, I used it when they were like, oh sir, someone is using Twitch, and then it's like McMahon like, where's the son of a bitch? Where is it?
Yeah, I seen that.
So someone took that and they took the whole like, oh, and then next is Kenny Omega, the WWE champion, and they went right into like, where's that son of a bitch? I was like, oh man, this is why stuff like this never like rest in peace, because this is always gonna be good for like.
You gotta always bring it back, bro.
Oh man,
context.
But you know what? Since I did bring up AEW, I think there's 2 things I wanted to bring. Well, there's 3 things I wanted to bring up. Man, Proud and Powerful, bro. That match they had with the Bucks, I don't know if you guys had a chance to catch it. They should have won that, man. I'm sorry. I'm biased. I'm biased.
Were you buying into the? It would be really dope to have Proud and Powerful versus Jericho, and
it would add to this whole slow burn of this whatever this, because that's the thing. A lot of people have a lot of different ideas how this is going to go. They think it's just going to be what it looks like with MJF trying to take it over, and then Jericho comes off as the face after this. There's Another theory where they think that Sammy and MJF are actually really working together, but making it appearing like they're not, so they both can take it over. There's a lot of different ways they can go with this, but to be honest, with the ways that they've been doing it so far, it's been such a slow burn. You just kind of don't believe some of the stuff going on. But I mean, yeah, if they would have, injected Proud and Powerful as the champs to take on, the quote unquote real tag team of Inner Circle versus the tag team that won to become the tag team of Inner Circle, that would have been good TV, I think.
I do kind of trust AEW though on what they want. It's like sometimes the thing with AEW is the meat of the feud. Sometimes you're just like, I don't know about this, but sometimes the payoff is worth it.
Yeah,
and
it's all about how they get there, though. Sometimes, yeah,
they'd be a little shoddy sometimes.
Yeah, I would say what may happen is Jericho gets pinned against the Young Bucks. MJF turns on Jericho after the match, and Sammy comes and makes the save. And then Sammy and Jericho kind of have a babyface situation, and then we get Jericho versus MJF again with Sammy having a TV feud like on a Dynamite in between that and Double or Nothing with MJF.
Him versus MJF at Double or Nothing would be pretty good. I wouldn't be mad at that. I mean, again, you're talking about two guys that are definitely going to be the future of that company. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
We did bring up Sammy. I guess it's worth bringing it up now.
So I haven't heard the last part of this. I've heard everything up until last week, but I didn't hear the stuff.
I'll go through the ups and downs. And supposedly he, it was actually Jericho's idea for Sammy to do some stuff with Impact, following him walking out and quitting the Inner Circle. But what they did, the only part that kind of confuses me is the process of like the chain of command, I guess, because it's Impact's creative that was already supposedly signed off on. And I'm like wondering, does that include, Tony Khan? Because if it's what they say it is, and every article has used the term quote unquote something that Sammy should have, not, pretty much spoken up about. Because I guess the whatever the creative was, it didn't sit well with Sammy. He thought that they could do something better. He didn't like it. But for whatever reason, he was the last to know. But then I'm thinking, if he's the last to know, wouldn't Tony know what this creative is? And if it's something that he should have, not done, then why would he agree to it anyways? Especially you got someone like Jericho, who's I assume it will be real close to TK on this, based on the fact that the relationship revolves solely on the fact that his buddy Don Callis is, actually the invisible hand in this. So you would think there'd be a little bit of a more tight-knit group as far as how the creative goes across, but I don't know what the initial creative was. I did watch what they did instead. I do know there was a story that Sammy was on his way to Nashville, but he was supposed to be there the night before just to make sure he was in town for the tapings. He didn't get there the night before. He ended up rescheduling his flight for the day of to get there, like, I think a few hours before the tapings. But I guess as soon as he was on, getting off the plane, he was texting him like, hey, I don't know about this creative. I kind of want to do something different. They were under the impression that it was already something that was already signed, so delivered as per Elite management with TK and shit. So it's like, it was a weird situation. He wouldn't budge. They decided not to use him. Jericho told him to fly back. I assume it's on his own dime, to be honest. But
that's messy.
Yeah, it's a real messy thing because you heard a lot of things. You heard that he had heat with AEW, then you heard he didn't have heat with AEW. You heard he had caused some sort of rift between the working relationship between them and Impact. Then you hear that it was smoothed over because Don Callis, like, he was supposedly almost banned from Impact, which I guess that means you're banned from fucking going to Legoland instead of going to Disneyland. I don't fucking know. I mean, I like, if, you know what I mean? Like, if I'm banned from Impact, okay, fucking boo-hoo. Like, I don't give a shit. That means you guys aren't going to fucking film me at a wedding getting shot at, I guess. Yeah, I don't fucking fucking just stuff me in the X Division. You know what I mean?
Unless Sammy does some shady shit, he's always going to have a job somewhere. So it's like...
You know what I'm saying? So it's like... Yeah. But from what I did hear, he did have some creative. He did try to pitch back. And I did hear that one of the things he pitched that I guess they did not like is he had pitched coming to Impact at some point winning the X Division title, which that would be a good look for him.
It would be a good look for the company, too.
I would think so. But then he would only – basically he would defend it on both shows but then he had something to do with some sort of tournament. Like he wouldn't get beat for it, but he would get beat for it via a tournament or something. I don't fucking know. They didn't like it though, and I was like, they probably thought, basically based on his initial attitude coming into this thing, you know, one way they probably thought one way or another about him, and then as soon as he said that, they probably are thinking, oh, he's not taking our belt for hostage or whatever the fuck. You know what I mean?
Well, Sami Zayn, I keep saying Sami Zayn. Okay, Sammy
Got
Guevara.
Zayn on the brain.
Yeah, I'm like JR right now, dude. Like, I would.
Just don't call.
I think like I honestly think the Impact AEW thing is more of like less of a thing in writing and more of a verbal. Hey, let's help each other out.
Yeah, I believe so.
Nervous about the championship, but Sammy is still probably outside of a handful of names a much bigger name than anybody they have on that Impact roster.
I would agree.
And
I would agree. I mean,
it would be a good look for the show too.
I'm not trying to be, throw shade, but if I look at Rich Swann and I look at Sammy Guevara, I'm thinking Sammy Guevara is the bigger star. You know what I mean?
Would agree too. Like, and you can make the case that, like, all right, okay, the Good Brothers know, right? And then maybe some of these former WWE names, but
the guys that look like actual, I feel what you're saying,
but not. But like, you can even like, I would say Sammy's a bigger name than Moose. Even though Moose Impact,
I was gonna say Moose is probably another. That's an interesting name to put up against Sammy. Though.
Yeah, like you could defend that. If someone's proved to me why Moose is a bigger name, then I would probably okay, I see it. But like, I guess from what I heard originally, which it could just be he say she say stuff. Because to be honest, I don't think I saw it in writing. What I think happened was Impact and Tony Khan or someone from AEW, representative from AEW, agreed on something for Sam. So Sammy agreed to go to Impact, but there was nothing for him to do yet. They agreed on something, and then they told Sammy, and then Sammy either half-ass okayed it, but then thought more about it, and didn't want to do it anymore.
I feel like it too.
And then it came back, and apparently everything was cool. And I think all this talk was for AEW and Impact to kind of develop something more concrete how they communicate these things. Because from what, and I could be wrong, but Sammy was the last to be told what the thing was.
That's how I feel too. That's the weird thing about it, because. Just again, it's something he should have turned down. I'm like, then Jericho would have known that. But then there's the story. Well, Jericho heard about what it was, and he said, "Oh yeah, you should." I'm like, I don't understand how the creative goes past Jericho or Tony Khan before. You know what I mean? After the fact, that's the part that doesn't add up to me. But I also feel like a lot of this is based on just being blown out of proportion. To be honest, I've heard similar stories with different tweaks on the details and stuff like that. So,
and I'm sure this is happening with a lot of wrestlers. I'm sure, like when Impact and AEW opened this up, Impact might have had this misconception of this idea that like we're gonna have Jericho, we're gonna have all these people that are come over here and help our show, and we're gonna send some people over there to help their show and stuff like that. But really, like at the end of the day, like some of these wrestlers are gonna be like, I don't want to do that, So
Well, real talk. Nick Aldis, who obviously has ties with, he lives in Nashville, but he also has former ties with a lot of the Impact management there, as he was, part of TNA and shit at one point in time. And this is a guy that works for NWA as their champ, meaning one of the companies that are already in bed with AEW. But he had made a comment saying that, I still have a lot of friends on that side of the fence, which means I get a lot of casual catch-ups. And, pretty much he has a few of the guys that come by and they have, like, just drinks and stuff like that, catching up and shit. And he, without naming names, he said pretty much the mood going around is that these AEW guys are coming in real, like, with the real, how do you say it? Just real smug, real like they have this stench to them, I guess. You know what I mean? As
We're
far
on
as
TNT and you're on Twitch, kind of shit.
like I don't know, because I'm like almost like you guys got to get creative, fucking finalized. We just do what we want. Like I don't know.
That might be what the problem is, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking that there might be a contrast of again the whole chain of command thing. You know what I mean? Like, who has the say? I mean, if it's their show, I would think they would, and if it's a Dynamite thing, I would think they would have last say. But obviously, some sort of compromise to make sure both sides are okay with what is being represented of each show on, you know. But yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, again, I don't think it's this. It's a huge deal. I think it's a bigger deal because everyone was just like, oh no, here go the signs, the cracks are showing. Like, you know what I mean? Everybody's so quick to want to be, you know, that negative when, you know. But it's crazy to think that there's still a lot of these companies that are still working together. I mean, the fact that New Japan, they got New Japan talent coming to Impact, and New Japan and Impact did not get along at all. Based off what they did with Okada and all that shit from the past, which is, I'm like, yeah, y'all stay petty for like 10 plus years over there. That's
forever beef.
For real, like for real. Another thing, go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say, you would think too that like Impact in a way, AEW is doing them the favor in terms of exposure, but I feel like Impact in a way is going to do them a favor of giving some of their talent TV exposure, even though it's low key TV exposure, like Private Party and a lot. There's like several mid card guys on AEW who need.
I think Private Party could use it though.
Yeah, like there's plenty of people. Like for example, like I wouldn't be surprised when it first initially happened. They gave Sean Spears a solid amount of money, and they don't use him. You know, so
that's true because he's been doing this whole like I quit thing. We haven't seen him. I mean, you know, he's still getting royalty checks from the Ty Dillinger shirts, obviously. Because I
must be nice.
I got that same shirt myself that I still rock around the house, sir.
This one?
Oh yeah, that's the best. But yeah, it's weird. I could see him getting involved down the line. Fuck, dude, like no lie, because it would suit him. It's gonna sound funny, but I could see him fucking up like Rich Swann and being the Impact World Champion.
Yeah, like Sean Spears has.
Like I mean, and I don't know how pull that off. I don't know how he would draw as champ, but he'd look more like the champ than Rich Swann would, just in the presentation. You know
and I do think, like, correct me if I'm wrong, Moose is still heavyweight champion, right?
He's just the TNA champion, and the TNA championship is not recognized.
It's not recognized. So you could easily, I feel like, give that to anybody.
Actually, you could like have Moose versus Brian Cage and you know, unrecognized title versus unrecognized title. Like,
serious, like,
at the arena match because nobody cares. Like, like
turn on the snow machine.
Word, like I fuck with Moose, but I'm like, yo, but this whole pretend that's like any fan with a championship belt. You know what I mean? At a live event, like, you know what I mean? Like,
well, usually when like these unrecognized titles come into a storyline, it's because they're eventually going to be used into a storyline, and I feel like now they're just there. Like Moose has done this for like a year or something like now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
he has at least about
Brian Cage
invested into this. Yeah, I mean, the last time it actually worked. I mean, the last time they really used it is when like CM Punk won. He ran off with the championship and Money in the Bank, and then they had that whole tournament, and then like he still came back a week later, and it's like that's not the real championship. This is. I'm like, no, that's the replica.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm super into those storylines, and we might have to have one here on the Flow Show with Baca.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hey, we might have to. I mean,
like the interim champion versus the real champion. Like, I'm all into that.
When I take this prediction belt and then just don't come back on the show.
I was gonna say, like next time he's gonna have like that Sami Zayn style T-shirt that says like I'm the $2 champion.
Sorry, we couldn't leave Houston because it froze over. So
see, I was thinking about that too. I'm like, dude, what's gonna happen when you gotta like spend the night at the freaking the airport and shit on your way back?
It's supposed to be warming up next week, hopefully, and everything kind of get back to normal.
I'm not sure because, like, for example. This is all I know. So I know like most of Texas is going through this, but I'm not sure if Houston's going through this because Houston's a little further.
No, yeah, those major cities are so far away from each other. Yeah.
And I was like, but I play fantasy basketball, and all my Houston games are postponed. So I'm assuming there's some stuff going on in Houston too.
Yeah, probably.
and Baca's just drinking at a club, and
you're like, what do you mean? What do you mean we can't? We're snowed in. We can't even watch our home team play ball. Like, damn. Oh man. But you know what? We speaking of Cage, we did have the bump heard around the world.
Ooh.
We had Sting taking his first bump.
Yeah.
I mean, you talk about baptism by fire. That was a goddamn backdraft when you think
that's like that first swim of summertime but you know the water's gonna be cold, so you just cannonball in like fuck it, let's just
the quicker I get this over. Yeah, no, because no lie, like my brother, he was like, yo, it looked like low key that face he made, you know, the shit I have on my profile. He was like, look, he's like, oh yeah, what's up, old friend? I remember that.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Word. I was like, oh, what's up, Callus? I gotta earn this callus on my body all over again. I'm like, dude,
I would love.
Was he 61? I think he's 61. Yeah. Crazy, dude, crazy shit. But you know what? Hey,
if you were to power rank the most dangerous wrestlers on the AEW roster, where would you put Brian Cage?
Is there another dangerous wrestler you would put in AEW? I'm not too sure.
Like on accident, like some wrestlers might just be good, but like you would say like maybe like just.
I mean, as far as like all time, I would put him up there with like the Heidenreichs and the freaking Rybacks and.
So why would you have the guy?
Let me just say it. This is not me as a hater.
Let them fight.
Shout out to Brian Cage and what he's been doing. I just know what I know from booking him. And as a fan of what I've seen, I've had personal encounters with him, and that's all I'll say about that. But so this isn't without merit, you know what I mean? This isn't us always having to fucking, you know, we're raining down on Brian Cage. We've seen things before, witnessed things before, and you put it into that plus 61-year-old Sting and the fact that he does the same very move that put him out.
Speaking of seeing things.
Oh.
I feel like Sting's whole life flashed before his eyes in black and white when he got slapped.
So I saw a meme. I saw a meme with that same face. It said Sting takes a bump. He's like, man, why is Dusty and Macho arguing? I was like, yo, no, I was like, all you missing is some clouds. I'm like, don't do it. Don't do it. But
well, okay, so I get the PR move because like this goes back to even Cody taking the headshot a long time ago. Remember, is that we all talked about it after the fact. You know, we all hated it, but we talked about it.
This is smart because everyone was talking about how he shouldn't be doing this and how this is a mistake. But then you see him take the bump, and now you're like, okay, I need to see him get this receipt. Which is smart. It's a smart market.
I kind of want to see him sit his ass down because
he already got his ass sat down.
They could have just did a beat up angle, you know, like punch him in the face, he falls, everyone kicks him, and then they walk away, right?
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie though, I was excited to see the old school Sting flurry with the chops and the kicks in the corner. I was like, okay, there we go. He's getting back in the working shape.
There's a working relationship. What if Sting goes back and takes the TNA Championship off of Moose?
I can see that.
That'd be dope.
I wouldn't be mad at that, to be honest. That'd be kind of cool. I mean, it gives Moose something to hang his hat on finally. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That'd be kind of cool. I'm not mad at that. Obviously, Sting has serious TNA ties. He went there for maybe 10 years before he even thought about going back to, or even joining WWF or WWE. I wouldn't be mad at that, to be honest. Again, it gives something. It's just, again, I think the only thing that worries me about the working relationships is the over exposure, or I guess the cross streaming, not to steal from Ghostbusters here, but like there's gonna be a lot of belts featured on that show, and then
everybody got a title.
You know what I mean? And us as fans are now expected to figure out which is prioritizes.
What's the hierarchy?
Yeah, exactly. You know, obviously the FTW one is. I mean, we're like anything.
Someone just needs to win the FTW championship and throw it in the trash the night after, and then we just don't see it again.
Or I wouldn't be mad if they had Sammy Callahan come in and take that shit from him and just be on some hardcore shit.
Send that shit to Impact and we don't have to see it.
Yeah, I mean, like him and Eddie Edwards can fucking be as hardcore as they want out there. You know what I mean? You can get Tommy Dreamer involved with it because he got the ECW ties too, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of booking him for the fucking heavyweight championship match against Rich Swann. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, come on, bro.
So sometimes I'm like, oh, I heard Impact's good. I should check it out. And then I look at the card and be like, Tommy Dreamer's still doing shit, huh? I'm all right. I'm not going to spend my $15.
You guys hear? Did you hear? Like, actually, during like that whole media shit, right before that, I think No Surrender, he had answered a few questions, and he had said he claimed that remember, was it 2002, I believe, when Shawn Michaels came back with the weird haircut with the ugly tights, Elimination Chamber. It was a highlight for me because I was like getting done with wrestling, and Shawn came back. But supposedly, he's claiming that before they were able to get Shawn to come back, he was supposed to be in like a 3-month feud with Triple H for the title.
Tommy Dreamer?
Tommy Dreamer.
Oh, maybe.
And the way he says that he felt that he was going to channel the Tommy Dreamer babyface of ECW old against, Triple H was like the heel of heels back then. So I'm like, I could see it, but at the same time, I can't see you like facing like
is it like a
Tommy,
Mankind Mick Foley kind of thing? Like,
I don't know.
They could kind of play off of that, like not that specifically, but like the fact that like Tommy Dreamer's out of shape.
Like, at the same time, I really want. I thought he was just trolling, but this thing's been picking up legs. Like everyone's been talking about it. I was like,
I'm good.
It's super specific though, too.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but you ain't gonna beat Triple H with a move that he does in his moveset, which is a DDT. Like you're not.
Imagine just Triple H just knocked out like
from a DDT.
Yeah,
and a kendo stick to the belly button.
Like for me, he was never gonna win, right? But it was all about like just having someone to face Triple H. Maybe there's a small percentage it was talked about, and maybe
that's like Shelton Benjamin saying he had a feud with Triple H, but it lasted like 2 Raws.
True, but the way he's saying that he specifically said it like, yeah, I was supposed to do this match, but then due to backstage BS and Shawn Michaels with that horrible haircut and tights came back and replaced me. I'm like,
to be fair.
To be fair.
It's Shawn Michaels, bro.
To be fair, first Shawn Michaels match back in like years after a broken back.
But they're going to say, nah, chill, Shawn. We got this whole Tommy Dreamer thing set up.
I'm putting all the chips on Shawn.
Triple H is not losing to a guy who wears a T-shirt. Like,
come on, bro.
Or not even wrestling a guy. He's not going to have a main event feud with a guy who wears a T-shirt.
With the sleeves rolled up.
Shit.
Watch out, fool.
Another heel turn I wanted to bring up. I don't really call it a heel turn because they didn't really act like heels. Otis and Chad Gable though.
Chad Gable has been flirting with healer stuff for like at least a year and a half.
Hey, Mac, all I got to say is that splash was nice though.
It was, but what are we doing? What are we doing?
Yeah. I don't know why. I don't know why it had to be like. But no lie, I was hoping please let the beat. I was like, please just let Dominic get drafted to a different show, get him away from his dad.
Bro.
I'm tired of this shit, bro.
My beef is I'm tired of the Mysterios.
And can we get Tucker back? Can we get Tucker back, man?
I was gonna say Tuck. I feel bad for Tuck.
I do.
It would be really cool if Chad Gable said, "Hey, Otis, I recruited another guy to the Alpha Academy," and then you see Tucker walk into the shot.
He's gonna be the Omega to your Alpha. Boom.
And then Otis is like not sure of it. He's really upset by it, but for some reason he's been like, "I've trusted Chad this far," and then eventually we get Heavy Machinery back with it, and that's a way to do it without. Usually just do it without it having a storyline. I guess I'm just trying to make shit pudding out of shit here. But
I'm not against it. Like I can even see them because they've done those like vignettes where it's like, okay, we're gonna blindfold you. We're gonna see how quick your evasive maneuvers are, right? I can see them doing that and then having like Tucker be the one to like swing like a briefcase behind him. He's like, no, I'm not ready for this. It's trauma. I don't trust him. I don't trust him one bit. But it was weird though, like because Otis, he seemed like he was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. You know what I mean? I don't know where this is going.
I'm cool, like in a vacuum, Otis being a heel and this whole thing. Like if you just watch that match, it was cool, and then everything after was cool. But knowing what you know before that, it's like, bro, like 2 months ago, he was like your biggest babyface. Before the crowd was going, he was getting the biggest.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, it's weird for like him to be like a Vince favorite. Right.
Yeah. So what happened?
And so much so be like pretty much awarded the Money in the Bank briefcase for a substantial amount of time before you got fell. Before you fell out of favor.
He's gonna go down in history as like you're gonna look at all these people who won the Money in the Bank, and Otis's name's gonna be there.
bro. Like, I mean,
he's already had a bigger career than like 90% of the WWE.
Like, no lie, like his run, even though he didn't get the cash in, is better than Kennedy's.
Yeah,
who had it and didn't get the cash in either. Like, it's
at least his Money in the Bank led to a storyline with the Miz, and
that's true.
Kinda.
Yeah, Miz carried that.
Yeah,
I mean, Miz is good.
Like I said, I'm totally cool with it. It's just weird how we got here. It's just weird to like.
It really is, right?
It wasn't like 3 weeks ago he was helping Mandy in the, you know what I'm saying? Like they had a whole thing, and now
my peach.
Yeah, so that just kind of gets swept under the rug. Like,
I knew something was up because I was on WWE Shop the other night, and there was a lot of Otis merch being hawked in the clearance section. So I was like, "Yo, this is stuff he still says, though." I'm like,
okay. You're such a good wrestling observer kind of guy, though. You're just like, "Hey, I've noticed this guy's shit's in clearance. We're gonna see something soon."
like same thing with Brock Lesnar. We're like, "Oh, Brock Lesnar's gone. He's out of here. This shit's not even in the shelf." Nah. One thing I did like, I don't know if you guys caught that little Easter egg that Daniel Bryan had where he low-key mentioned
that was good.
Without mentioning
like
YTJ.
like
yeah, I thought. See, at first when I he's like, "Oh, there's a big name I'm thinking of," I was like, Shane McMahon. Because I was like, that's probably the biggest name. And then he's like, maybe I should have made a list. I'm like, nice. Good Daniel Bryan. I'm like,
it's okay. It's okay to acknowledge each other, guys. We're all
especially
on the same
someone
planet.
especially someone like Chris Jericho, who it's not like they didn't go somewhere else and change their name. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, this dude's been through like 4 wrestling companies, 5 including Smoky Mountain. Like, bro.
And I know this is no news to us, but like I kind of wish sometimes Vince McMahon was a little bit more okay with certain things. Like Chris Jericho put 20 plus years with the WWE, and he's still like, if you think about it, there is crossover fans. How much you would think that like if there are some dedicated AEW fans, they might tune in or at least watch the YouTube video of this if you mention Chris Jericho's name on SmackDown, because then it would be all over Twitter like Chris Jericho mentioned on SmackDown. You know,
and that's true. And then there's a special niche of people who are specifically WWE, and they're not gonna go watch AEW. So if they get reminded of Chris Jericho, they may be like, "Damn, man, I miss Chris Jericho," and then they might go and watch some shit with I mean, like. Like they'd be able to be smart about it as opposed to AEW, who they'll mention somebody. I'm like, why did you say that? Now they're gonna go. I'm like, well, oh yeah, why would they? They're gonna fucking do the research and go check out the network for some shit.
Before we get into predictions, I know you might have more stuff, but like, are we gonna talk about the Undisputed Era here? Or
no, I definitely was gonna bring that up. I was trying to figure out if there was anything else. I can't really think of anything else that's happened.
In terms of the Otis thing, real quick though, we just need like if we're gonna have tag teams. Like I don't understand.
Remember those? Remember tag teams?
Like if you want to make them a tag team, then let them be.
Remember well-oiled machines, as they call them.
Remember that? We're not gonna get tag teams until the Usos get back together and they need something to win.
Low key, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, speaking of tag teams, I was like, they should just put Aleister Black back with Ricochet since they don't like both of them anyways, and just have them tag. but the other thing I was like, yo,
right? They have history apparently.
Everyone's been like, oh, is Edge and Christian gonna have a run? Edge got interviewed about it. He had said it. Low key, I wouldn't be mad if we had a little Uso versus Edge and Christian action. That might be
my prediction is that's the Fastlane match.
Well, I feel like that might get visited if I don't know, because again, I don't know what's up with Jimmy, right? I keep hearing he's close, but I mean, like, how do you not know how to bring him back? Like, y'all got so many like options, you know what I mean? With the table, pun intended, that's being set up for him. But if it was part of like the Edge versus Roman, if that's how it goes, story, and they had like, he teamed up with Christian one night against the Usos, that'd be dope. I was surprised he took that spear bump at the end of SmackDown though.
Yeah.
Real surprise.
Especially before the Chamber, because now we're all kind of like, okay, oh, well, now whatever happens whatever happens in the Chamber match, we know the Chamber match is going to lead to a match later that night. But now we would still maybe have that thing in the back of our heads, like that could possibly also lead to the Mania match.
I mean,
and now we're in this it's Edge now.
I was gonna say that like the whole little mini saga between him and Roman kind of overshadowed everything at the end, to be honest.
They tend to do that a lot. I notice when they have a big match set, and there is a pay-per-view in between, they tend to have a match that's supposed to have implications on that, but it kind of gives it away. When the two people, as in Edge and Roman, we already know that that's kind of where we want to go. So anything that happens in this Chamber is kind of like a throwaway.
Yeah.
What you think about like a chamber match, a throw, like I was thinking about that. I was like, yo, this chamber match is an over glorified gauntlet match, basically.
Yeah, and I'm
you know what I mean? It's
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I want to see it, but
I'm not
I just wish
but
it
can you
was
imagine
heavier.
from the psyche of one of the contestants, you're like, yo, I'm beating everyone's ass and getting my ass whooped for this, and if I win the match, yeah, I win this opportunity, but like if I lose that, I walk away with nothing. You know what
nothing.
I mean? It's a crazy, like, yeah, you know, I don't know, it's just crazy. I do like what Edge and Roman's been doing tit for tat back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
We can get into predictions, but yeah, I think let's talk about Undisputed Era before I get too far into these prediction theories. Bruh,
you seen there was a meme of Will Smith standing in the empty living room. And it was like when Bobby Fish comes back to Undisputed Era.
Bro. So no lie, like somebody already, like, they imposed Adam Cole's face on Eddie Guerrero. They imposed Kyle O'Reilly's face on Rey Mysterio, and they had imposed Roddy Strong's face on Dominic Mysterio. It was like custody for Roddy, dad versus dad. It was like, god damn. It's weird. I feel weird about it because it's like one era, no pun intended, of the Undisputed Era, they were pushing that there's no leader type thing. Mostly when you think about it, it was around the time that Kyle O'Reilly was getting most of the main event spotlight because he was doing this thing with Finn. But I don't know, it's weird because it's like what confuses me is like Adam Cole is still making these moves with the Undisputed Era like sweater on or the shirt on. So I'm like, he's still like town business, well, you know, however you want to cut it. But it's like, the other thing that's weird is I'm like, okay, when Bobby comes back, he ain't gonna ride for this because that's his tag team partner. Like they came in together, you know what I mean? So, and not to mention, I've never seen Bobby Fish without Kyle O'Reilly. So I'm like, I don't see him going against Kyle. But then I'm like, okay, are they gonna do like a Kyle and Bobby turn face and then Roddy and Cole turn heel? I don't know where they're going with this.
And
like,
then Finn is on the opposite side of Adam because he took a kick too. So I think you make two separate little clips of the
I did like Kyle O'Reilly's little promo to start off NXT where he was, I don't want to hear shit from you.
That saved it because in the beginning he sounded real whiny. He was like, bro, I just want to talk, bro. Just explain to me what happened. And then when Roddy came out,
he's like, bro.
Then he switched. Roddy? He was like, Roddy, I ain't trying to talk to your little ass.
Yeah. So especially he's like, you know, he didn't mean to. Like, bro, are you speaking for him? Are you serious right now? Like, I don't.
He was like, don't get in this ring, bro.
Yeah. He's like, if I didn't love you, I wouldn't warn you. You know what I mean? Kind of, you know how I felt.
I feel like the thing with this Undisputed Era stuff is on the back of everybody's mind is they're going to be able to have a long-term Undisputed issue because everyone's going to be on NXT for another year or two, or are people being brought up and things are going to be rushed?
I was trying to figure that was a question of mine because I was like, okay, even if they were to clash and they're still on NXT, I don't see them not clashing anymore. Like, it's like the biggest example of it being effective that way has been Tommaso and Gargano, but they had the match that was supposed to end them fighting, right? They made it a big old thing. We're not fighting after this. After this is dropped. Then we got the whole big double turn. But yeah, I don't see, because all four of those guys, I mean, as a unit and individually, are a huge part of NXT. You know, so it's kind of weird. It's a weird little thing because I was like, it reminded me ironically when they broke up DIY. I feel like DIY was one of the best tag teams they had going at the time. I would have never had the foresight to see freaking, you know, the way Gargano and freaking Ciampa's bloomed now individually. It's two different entities, you know. So I'm having that same optimism about this, but I never wanted to see these guys break up. I mean, I can't name another group. I mean, what they say, like since 2017 they've been running the show?
16 or 17, one of the two.
So like what, 3.5 years? That you know, all they did was add one person. You know, usually when you see a long stretch of a crew, they go through personnel changes, right? Whatever you want to call it. But they've been solid. So that's why I was like, yo, they could low-key could be the best stable in WWE history as far as.
Do you think that's what this is? Do you think they are swapping out Adam Cole and Finn, and then Adam goes up?
Oh shit!
I don't. I honestly think Undisputed Era is going to break up.
Do you think Adam wants to go up? That's
I don't know. I don't think so.
I think if he's told to, he does though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know he had a recent, like maybe 2-3 weeks ago, he had said like it's like NXT is the main roster. I'm not going nowhere or something. He said something like that. You know what I mean? Same thing Tommaso said.
I wanted to see Undisputed Era go up together though. I think if they were going to go up, I wanted them to go up together, and then whatever breakup was going to happen, it was going to happen on the main roster. So when they do come back together in the future, if that does happen, it means more, because I do feel like we break them up, and now we separate them. Adam Cole does his thing, Kyle does his thing. One goes up, one doesn't, and then they were to bring them together on the main roster. A lot of people might not understand it.
It might not hit as hard.
Well, you know what? I feel like Adam going on by himself to the main roster, it hurts him more than it does the presentation of him going up there with 3 other, homies. Like, if they had a whole squad going up there, it would take away from the fact that he's so much smaller than a lot of those guys on that roster right now.
Okay.
I mean, dude, you put him in there with even like a guy like Matt Riddle. Matt Riddle's like significantly bigger than him. You know what I mean? And you never really understand how tiny. And I hate to say it like that, but he ain't gonna come after me like Pat McAfee, so whatever. You kind of you don't really know how small he is until he's in the ring with a guy like Karrion Kross, bro. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna look small. You know what I mean? But if you come in with a crew and y'all are running roughshod, and he has like cronies or homies or whatever you want to call it, like that are helping him, lay waste to some guys, I think that's a better opening statement coming in, as opposed to, because like Adam Cole has it, but look wise, people are not going to understand him. I feel like by himself.
I do feel though, if
I could see him in a year being floundering, trying to get an Intercontinental Championship type of situation, or you know what I mean, just because I don't see him ever being.
That's their biggest mistake, because he'll easily go to AEW.
I don't see him being booked against Drew McIntyre. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense. So. But like he's got a lot of ties. He's got a lot of ties with AEW already. Like I remember AEW had like a party and he was there. Like,
yeah, his girl worked there, right?
Yeah. So I wouldn't be surprised if like he goes up to the main roster, checks it out. His contract comes up in a year or two, and he's still extremely young, I believe.
Mm.
He's still in his 20s, if I'm not mistaken. So he could easily just go to AEW and then WWE miss an opportunity. So I don't know if like he's nervous that he will miss an opportunity. Like, I do think it's one of those things where it's like he goes up to the main roster, and then the main roster has to prove that they deserve Adam Cole more so than Adam Cole needs to prove that he needs to be on the main roster.
I see that. I could see even that being the case for Triple H, because I could see Triple H not wanting to let him go like that, to be honest.
Triple H could be in Vince's ear, like, hey, you bring him up, you use him. If not, you're gonna lose like $1 million dude. Like,
bro, yeah. Have you seen that meme where it's that scene from Toy Story where Andy like is dropping like Woody from on the floor, and it was like Vince after he brings up someone from like I don't want to play with Woody anymore. Where's my Buzz Lightyear? I'm like, it is like, sadly it is like that, But I mean, like, half the guys that's made something of themselves had to prove, you know what I mean, like, or had to turn heel, like this Cedric Alexander's and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Even the fact that Lashley still had to prove himself coming back after all these years, I'm like, bro, look at this guy. What are you talking about? But you know what? Yeah, you guys are right though. He does have quite a few ties already over, obviously, at AEW. I've been hearing rumors about his contract. I don't know what that means. I don't know how he feels about staying or leaving. Like, obviously he'd be with his girl, but obviously they're both stationed in Florida right now, so it's not even that big of a deal. It's weird, man. It's weird because Cedric Alexander is actually another name that's shown up on AEW tapings too, because he's with Big Swole too. So, and I guess he apparently knows Will Hobbs too. So there's always like some intermingling. But Adam, I mean, you can't tell me if they were to interject, Adam Cole into this Bullet Club or Bootleg Club, whatever they want to call it, for stuff right now, it would get interesting. It would definitely get interesting.
I think wrestling. There's a couple things that stick out to me when I watch wrestling that I have personal favorites of. It's one, I really love tournaments because it makes matches that normally don't matter.
Absolutely.
And so when people put on a banger, it's not just a random 15-minute classic on a Friday, but if it's in a tournament, it makes sense.
Forgot about in 2 weeks,
right? And then two, I like factions that have a reason to go against a whole other faction. Like faction warfare shit always kind of, kind of hits me in
especially if they're like pretty good matched up.
And so being that every show kind of has a little group, I would like to see those groups have a reason to bump heads a little bit. They don't have to actually, have like full-fledged storylines where one group is trying to dominate them all, but it would be fun to see those interactions happen more, because if you have a Hurt Business and what's the dudes with the funny names?
Retribution.
You have a Retribution.
I was gonna say Hurt Business. I was like, what? I forgot Retribution was even a thing.
But that's what I'm saying.
The Nation of Domination?
But having those guys available and having like, it's one thing to have a big group, and the big group gives you numbers over individuals. But what happens when we're doing that over here and then this group is doing that over here? Y'all have to at some point clash over something.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
They had like a few moments of those, like, when that whole Saudi plane hostage situation happened, and they had to like pretty much lean on NXT to come make that SmackDown taping. I thought that was cool too. But then as quick as it was cool, it was as quick as it faded away. You know what I mean? Like they got it. Yeah. They had the inclusion for Survivor Series, and they had a strong showing. But then next year, nah. You know what I mean? Like it's like I don't understand. But I'm with you, because like King of the Ring has always been one of my favorite concepts, but they don't do it enough, man.
Nah.
And I thought it was always.
Then they would have to take that crown from Corbin, and then what he gonna do?
Yeah, true. I mean, to be honest, he's been doing the same thing, except he just added the word king in front of it.
I feel like there's so much dry WWE throughout the year too, that a King of the Ring tournament to determine a number one contender, just throw that shit in the middle of fucking October.
Say June, July.
Yeah, bro. Anywhere.
Bro, I mean, because that's where the Cesaros, the Daniel Bryan, like the workers will go. Like you even.
And I was gonna say, what's been the most popping thing over? I would say like maybe the last year and a half for a regular SmackDown, the gauntlet matches, when they're trying to decide who's going to be the next somebody. Those gauntlet matches are always fire, because
they're showcase. Yeah,
you could take 5 or 6 of the best workers, throw them in there back to back to back. It tells an immediate story. Whoever wins is a badass. Like it's perfect.
And that's the thing. No one I was gonna say, like anyone that loses doesn't really lose. Like they walk away still having added stock, unless you're Rey Mysterio, who just got mollywopped last time. But I digress. But go ahead, Brian.
I was gonna say, like, I'm not against too. Like I think if they did it year after year, it might get old. But I'm not against either using the Elimination Chamber as a gauntlet match itself too, to face the champion later in the night. Like this is the first time we're gonna see it, and this is the most I've been interested in it because like if they did Roman in one and Drew in the other, we know who's gonna win those. And I think like this is a way to showcase a wrestler. It's just too bad like after tonight or after Sunday or after Fastlane, we're not gonna give a shit because Edge is facing Roman. But
I mean, but no lie though, because of the fact that we're back. Okay, tonight is back on the road to WrestleMania, and we're only focused on the WrestleMania. You know what I mean? They have an agenda already, so I get what you're saying. Like if which is why something like whether they did like the Elimination Chamber and the title defense in one night, or they could even do the King of the Ring and the title defense, like because usually historically that's what you would win as a title shot, not just to get to play dress up for a whole year or whenever you wanted to, whatever.
But
buying $39,000 timepieces.
Going back to the Undisputed Era thing, just to put like I don't know, cherry on top if they're both staying in NXT, this has Tommaso Ciampa, Gargano, like
vibes written over it. Right?
Like if you get a solid, just even like they want to bring Adam Cole up, but they do it a year from now, right? You get a solid year of Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole with what we're trying to figure out from Roderick Strong and Bobby Fish, which I think Bobby Fish turning on Kyle to side with Adam
No,
Cole.
that would be crazy. Yeah,
shocker.
That's where, and then Roderick is still in the middle, so Kyle's still kind of on his own. But I don't know when Bobby Fish is coming back.
He's like, I don't know. Dad just left mom for his new girlfriend, and I'm just stuck in the middle.
Right. Yeah, I just think, but like if you, because you could even like, for example, I know this sounds bad, but Finn to me just seems like a temporary champion before they figure out like who they really want to have be champion.
I've been digging what he's been doing, but I feel like they've already, like they ran out of, like they don't really know what's next for him right now. You know what I mean?
Because I could see Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor at the next.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then Kyle O'Reilly versus Adam Cole 1-on-1 the next takeover.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kyle O'Reilly finally wins the title, the takeover after that.
I mean, the only other way that they could do it is just those two against each other right away for the number one contendership, which I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it makes it more personal.
I would prefer a one-on-one match. So if they want to do Adam Cole versus Finn Balor, because I know Finn Balor is going to feel like, hey, I got kicked too, so I need to deal with some shit. Yeah. Or they could just write Kyle off TV with this injury they just had, and then just do Finn versus. Yeah,
that shit was crazy, bro. Because I had someone from the East Coast send me all these videos. Like they were like, "Yo, this and this happened." I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck?" So then to see that, and then as the whole situation progresses overnight, it's like, no, I'm just really good at my job. It's like, oh shit, like
because like with Finn Balor being champion right now, this feud has legs, especially since he's kind of in the middle of it. But
he doesn't have to be. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So this at least gets us to the next takeover. I just don't know how they're going to do it. Either a one-on-one with Adam or whatever.
I think we may have that triple threat for WrestleMania, bro, because they've been talking about the NXT Championship having a space in the WrestleMania card, whether night 1 or night 2.
Or there's no NXT. I don't know if they're going to do a takeover before WrestleMania, but it would be cool if they did Adam versus Kyle number one contender match.
And then like
instead of a title match at takeover, winner faces Finn at WrestleMania.
That'd be kind of cool.
Adam and Kyle got to have that kind of feud where it's just straight up personal. How Shawn and Triple H had theirs. Mm-hmm. Like where they just trying to kill each other.
I would to be honest, the last match that they had, against each other, where it was in Ring of Honor, Kyle O'Reilly won. He beat Adam Cole to become the first to be champion for the first time. And then like a week later, he had to drop it because he signed a deal with New Japan. And then they had to it was, but the match that they had, if you get a chance to watch it, I think it was at Death Before Dishonor. I got to figure it out. I have it on my dude. I used to like freaking hoard wrestling matches and just put it on a hard drive. I'd be at school, done with like in between classes. I'm like, I'm gonna watch Brett versus Shawn. I'll be in the library just watching shit, just in between classes and shit. But yeah, the last match they had was insane. I don't doubt that they're gonna put up a bunch of clinics since all the ones that they've already put up in NXT. Mm-hmm. But I think you're right, Mac. Like, I mean, it's one thing for it to be personal, but they're gonna fight like hell, especially if it's A, for the number one contendership, but even B, if it's number one contendership and a place to fight at Mania. Like, they're gonna want to fight like hell, right? So I think I see the feud being longer than that, of course, but shit, if that's what they fighting for during Mania weekend, it's gonna be one of those ones that we talk about.
And you know what? Kyle could beat Adam Cole, and then Adam Cole cost him the match the following night at Mania.
I definitely, or Bobby Fish could cost it to him. Bobby Fish could cost him and then come back.
Yeah, you could throw him in as a wild card because when you see him running out, you don't know
because it could be a situation where their turmoil is so bad that Regal's like, it's going to be a one-on-one match, but Adam Cole, if you get involved, you're not even going to be able to touch the championship. So instead of him, it's Bobby. You know what I mean? Where it's not, the same thing happens, but it's
I like that. I like the possibilities.
Something like that. I mean, hey, but by the way, did you know that? Well, I guess it's better we bring this up before Young Baca is able to gloat in our faces. But I heard Pat Mack is making like $150K a month for NXT. Insane, right? Dude ain't taking no bumps. He just reporting, being filmed on a private plane.
I don't know how much. Other wrestlers I know like the guys who are still developmental make like 30, 50 or something.
Finn's making I think about 100 grand or 100 more, or more than a little bit more than 100 grand.
I'm about to wrestle.
Right, you know what I'm saying? I might referee. That's
I'm gonna become a punter in the NFL and then start a podcast and then wrestle.
That part.
Shit, no, that might be honestly the safest. That might be the safest route than actually going to wrestling.
Hey man, if Sting could take a power bomb and not die, I think I should be all right.
Bro, I honestly thought he was gonna turn into. I thought he was gonna disintegrate into a big ass snowflake like a pyro, bro.
His face says so like, much.
Oh, that hurts good.
It's gonna be like Infinity War, like just see like
Sting just starts fading away.
Oh, dude! The fact that no one's made that meme yet. Oh God, that's gonna be hilarious.
That would be hilarious.
But you guys ready to get into the predictions, man?
Yeah, man, let's do
this. All right.
Have
you done predictions with us before, Mac? Yeah,
never.
Right?
Yeah, we've done predictions. I only counted 5 matches, so I figured we were only gonna do like 5 confidence points.
Yeah, I'm cool with that. And then if you want, we could have some prop bets at the end for extra points. We'll figure that out.
Let me see, because I know I have my other.
Like we could do who are going to be the final 2 in the.
Oh, I forgot about that shit.
In the Elimination Chamber.
See, that's the only thing now. It's like almost not as exciting because at least like I think it was at the 2016 Battle Royal when it was like Cena. I think it was Cena, Corbin, and Bray Wyatt were the last 3, and then Cena, who was the champ at the time, got beat. Mm-hmm. So everyone was like, "Oh, so we're already like we're promising new champ." But we don't get that this year. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, well, we'll see who. I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I mean, my prediction for that match. Well, I guess we can go in order. I don't know what the order is, but I know we have the United. That's what I was going to bring up. The United States Championship match. Is that still a triple threat, or what's going on with that?
As of Wikipedia, it says Keith Lee's in it.
Because I mean, I haven't like they didn't mention him at all on Monday. He wasn't there. I don't know if maybe he, they're secretly taking him out of the match. Because the reason why that got me, it was kind of weird about it. I could have swore that didn't Keith beat Riddle last week?
Yeah.
And wasn't that match for the #1 contendership for the United States Championship?
I think it was just a match.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say, I'm like, if he beat him, then why would they have them both in the triple threat?
All right.
But I didn't like how they bitched out. They kind of buried Keith after that. I didn't like that shit. I'm like, for real. I mean, I know.
Riddle.
I know Lashley is a beast, but I'm like, bro, you ain't gonna let him do nothing. It's like, damn. Right. Let me see. So, yeah, I didn't know if it was still the triple threat match. If it's a triple threat match, I'm going for Keith Lee. But go ahead.
Okay. I was going to say, like, do you want to make it where, like.
I have a pick if it's a one-on-one, and I have a pick for whether it's a triple threat.
I got a triple threat on Bleacher Report, too.
Okay, so maybe he just wasn't there that day or that week. It was just weird. They didn't bring him up at all.
I was gonna say, do you want to do it where if you choose Keith Lee, no, that's not really fair because the WWE changes. I was gonna say, like, if you choose Keith Lee, then you know that it might be changed. Like, you could like choose Keith Lee and then change it maybe tomorrow.
Well, if it's a triple threat, I'm going Keith Lee. But if it's a one-on-one, I'm definitely going for Bobby. They ain't gonna give Riddle that belt.
Okay.
Riddle don't represent the rest of United States.
Are you gonna choose the same amount of confidence points for both? Because it would be hard to change the whole thing around if you have 2 picks.
That is a good question because I did have 5 points on Lashley on that one if it was a one-on-one. Come back to me later.
All right. So okay, I'm just gonna pick Bobby Lashley in general.
How many confidence points?
Fuck. So Drew's probably winning the Elimination Chamber. Roman's gonna win his match for sure. So I'm gonna say
you're saying Sami Zayn has no shot of winning. Is what you're saying?
Sammy Guevara.
I felt bad for him, bro. On that promo, I'm like, ain't nobody even looking at you, bro.
I'm gonna go Bobby Lashley with 3.
I'm sorry. I said how many points?
Bobby Lashley with 3.
3 points. All right. What about you, Mac?
I don't see Riddle winning because he's just been getting tossed around for the last 3 weeks, and Bobby just looks too strong lately.
Yeah, they just keep teaming him up with different people.
Yeah. I feel like Bobby Lashley's taking this one. I think Bobby Lashley keeps his strap.
For sure. I think I'm going to go Bobby as well. I didn't know if you guys heard this, by the way. They actually asked him if there was somebody on the main roster he would want in the Hurt Business, and he said he wants Keith Lee in the Hurt Business.
You think Keith Lee just like turns ultimate heel and Riddle, and just like
for the sake of the championship?
They just throw him back and forth.
He's like, hey man, you're the one who got beef with Lashley. He over here thrashing me for no reason. I don't need these problems. He's like, your ideas are dumb as fuck. I don't even know why I put up with you. How many confidence points you got on that one, Mac?
So how do these points work? Am I putting?
So,
is it
so there's 5 matches. So for example, like whatever match you think is gonna happen for sure, like your outcome, you give that the 5 points.
And I have 5 to spread across the whole card. Not 5 per.
Yeah. So like one can get 5, one gets 4, one gets 3, all that. Yeah. So yeah.
Oh, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but for each one. Okay.
So cool, the one you're least confident about, it gets like 1 point.
Okay. Yeah. So fantasy. Got you. I give Bobby a 3.
3 points. All right. I'm gonna do. We'll do 4 points on that one.
4 points for Bobby.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we'll go back to whatever happens with Keith Lee.
Yeah. I guess this would be like all secondary now in terms of the big matches, but they just added Nia Jax and Shayna versus Bianca and Sasha. I'm going Nia and Shayna is going to retain for 3 points. I don't see why they would tease that match with what's her name, Raquel and Dakota, which I thought that was really good, the back and forth. But I don't know why they would tease that for March 3rd if they're not going to retain. So
well, the women's title could be also won like on any show ever.
That's true.
It could be won on 205 Live. Like,
is that brand exclusive to anybody, or is it's just like anyone that's 205 and under, just get on over here?
They're like, hey, Nia, you can't be here.
Hey, Strowman, what are you doing? Come on, man.
So you picked Nia and Shayna?
Yeah, Nia and Shayna for the whole thing. See what I did there?
Hilarious.
Yeah, they that just shows me that Vince is willing to fucking put time and effort into anything that makes him laugh.
They gotta go Nia and Shayna because they just had the like you said, they just had the thing
with the NXT, right? Where
and Raquel got on her head about that shit. I'm gonna put this boot so far up your hole.
I was like in my head, I'm like, are they gonna say it, or are they gonna act like it never happened? They tend to do both. They'll press on the pulse on it too long until it dies.
Man.
Or they'll just act like nothing happened.
It's also WrestleMania season, and this is where they pull that Shawn Michaels, John Cena shit always. And it's the challenger and the champion win the tag titles for a little bit.
I was thinking that, but the way maybe it's just me, but Sasha came off a little bit more heel on SmackDown this week. I don't know. It was weird. I was getting some weird vibes.
It is a good excuse to get Belair and Sasha in the ring together.
Man, what the hell are they doing with Reggie, by the way, man?
I don't know, man. We don't have enough time for that.
Yeah, I know. Seriously. But you said Nia and Shayna. How many points you got on that one, Mac?
And
remember, you already used your 3 points. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure they're gonna win. So I'm gonna say 4.
4 points, okay. And what about you?
I'm going to say 2 points for Nia and Shayna.
2 points, Nia and Shayna. Okay. 2 points. Okay. Hey, you guys. Do you guys see that? Looks like they're pushing Tamina now, all of a sudden.
They shouldn't.
She finally took that coat off.
That, and then they gave her a new move, actually. She did like some spin out, like sidewalk.
Spin out rock bottom?
Yeah, I was like, okay. Yeah, I was about to say, because everybody doing the Samoan drop, so you got to do something else.
How many points did you give it, Quincy?
I did 3. So okay. I guess this takes us to the first Elimination Chamber. Drew McIntyre, Kofi, Kingston, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, and Sheamus. So I think Drew's gonna win this with 1 point.
You give Drew you're just doing 1 point?
Yeah, I mean, only because like I've invested points elsewhere that I'm gonna be like, you know what I mean? Like that's gonna be like a for sure. So I was like, if I lose on Drew, then I only lose 1 point, so I'll be straight. So I'm gonna say Drew for 1 point. One thing I think that's gonna happen though is low key. I think that like Strowman's gonna show up and mess some stuff up. Because I don't know if you guys remember, he showed up on Raw like last week,
and he was like, "I should be in this match."
He's like, "Yeah." He's like, well, it's WWE champions only. I've won the Universal Championship. That's the point.
Adam Pearce could just be, yeah, we don't really need Jeff in there. Yeah, go ahead.
Get your ass out.
Honestly, when you think about it, he could bust an Edge, because remember Edge lost the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, then he beat up Kofi that year, and he took Kofi's place in the Raw one. So that, I mean, we could see Strowman beating up Kofi, or they kept trying to squeeze John Morrison in that match too. So I don't know. This is weird because I keep forgetting that the Miz is actually a factor in this too, possibly.
So there's in my opinion, there's 3 options. Either A, Drew wins, B, Sheamus wins, and they do Drew versus Sheamus at Fastlane with the new Peacock thing.
Poor Sheamus for a month transitional championship.
Or this is the darkest timeline. Randy Orton wins and he faces Edge at Mania, and all this Roman Reigns Edge stuff was a red herring. But I don't think that's going to happen. I have Drew.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to say, because I don't think anyone is rooting for Randy in this match because they're just.
Nah, man.
I want to
pick something spicy, but.
I mean, I always pick AJ Styles in my heart of hearts because that's my dude. I always want him to win. But in terms of, like, WrestleMania, I mean, like, I haven't heard. The most I've heard about AJ Styles being put into the WrestleMania plans, he's been, like, throwing, like, feelers out there for, like, possibly facing, like, Triple H. I know he threw one out there for Edge before Edge won the Royal Rumble, so that's out. I mean, dude, I wouldn't doubt that wins. AJ, yeah, that's true. That's very. I mean, he's like, hey man, remember last year when you fucking knocked my arm out the socket?
My dang old shoulder blade, man.
The freaking shoulder blade. No, that's why I laughed when he took the spot in the Rumble this year. I was like, oh, he made sure he flat backed the shit out of that one. He's like, nothing fancy, just gonna keep it normal. But yeah, I'm going Drew for 1 point. How many? You say you're going for Drew, Brian?
Yeah, for 5 points.
5 points.
Oh, that's your big hitter, huh?
Yeah, that's what I was like. I mean, I kind of doubled down on the tribal chief.
Actually, hold on. My bad. 4 points.
4 points. All right.
Yeah, because Roman's fucking gonna absolutely win his match.
My bad. Yeah, you gotta save your nickel.
What you got, Mac, for the Raw elimination?
I wanna pick something spicy because I feel like there's gonna be some sort of shenanigans in this match, but I don't know.
We picked the same people for the last 3 matches.
Yeah, it's just gonna be based on the points, right? So
yeah.
Just to spice it up, and I hate the way he dresses, and I know that because I hate it, they're gonna put the strap on him. So I'm giving it to Sheamus via shenanigans.
Something told me, I was like, and he used the words shenanigans and Sheamus in the same. So there you go.
Sheamus via shenanigans for 2 points.
2 points. Hey, you know what? 2 points is probably all I'd bet on a Sheamus.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. So that's safe right there. All right, these next 2 matches. That's the only thing that's weird with these next 2 matches because they're like low key, like disconnected, anyways. But as far as who wins for the SmackDown Elimination Chamber, we got Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, Cesaro, Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, and King Corbin. In terms of being spicy, I'm going for Jey Uso. Specifically because they've been downplaying a lot of what could possibly happen if he wins. Because he can go one of 2 ways, right? He could either like, I won and I saved you the trouble. I'm going to lay down for you, Oos. We're going to keep it in the family. Don't trip. Or emotions might take the better of him, and we may get another classic between him and Jay. I just know, but I like Kevin Owens, but 3 goddamn times, bro. You need to get back in the line. I'm sorry.
Well, the thing is, if this is a throwaway pay-per-view, not a throwaway pay-per-view, but a throwaway title match, Kevin Owens winning's not a big deal, especially if they do something else at Fastlane.
if Kevin Owens wins, I see him winning and getting speared within like 5 minutes after the match is done.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see him putting up a fight or anything like
you know what I mean? Like, ring the bell, and
which I feel like that's how they may screw. Like they may screw everything. Like we may get hopeful, then it's just gonna be like a 2-minute match. I mean, the other person I thought for sure might walk out of this would be Daniel Bryan, but I kind of want to see the Jey Uso thing come to fruition. I ain't gonna lie. So I'm going Jey Uso with 2 points.
Okay. So this might take like 30 minutes. All right. So,
dude, it's hard. Yeah. I mean, Cesaro, because a lot of these guys are on some, I don't know about Sammy or King Corbin. They're just spot fillers, but hey, I'd rather them than the Mysterios. I ain't gonna lie. My brother was saying, he was like, how come, why wouldn't they put Rollins in here? Especially if he already was.
Well, that's the wild card, right?
I think they got Rollins in the back pocket.
So they could pull off what you were saying with Braun Strowman. They could do that with Cesaro and have Cesaro get beat up by Seth Rollins.
Poor Cesaro.
Or, which I think would be really cool too, is let's just say Cesaro wins, and then he's actually giving Roman a tough time, but Jey Uso can't help Roman because he's hurt from the Elimination Chamber. Seth Rollins comes out, makes eye contact with Roman, fucks up Cesaro, and that's the last we ever see of Seth and Roman making eye contact. Just like Seth didn't do it for Roman, but they do have history, and that could set up for something much later down the line.
I was gonna say I can see that maybe being for SummerSlam. I mean, that's the absolute latest I would have that, but yeah, if it was me, Seth just coming back, I would not rush him versus Roman. I would not.
No, I wouldn't do that either, especially since, like I said, it's going to probably be Edge at Mania, and I actually do think, depending on Jimmy's injury, that we might get Edge and Christian as the main event, like the first
like Fastlane or
the
something.
first pay-per-view on Peacock. Edge and Christian returns.
People would buy that, yeah.
Jey Uso and Jimmy Uso the Usos versus Edge and Christian. And if Jimmy can't come back, then it will be Roman and Jey Uso versus Edge and Christian.
I can see that.
So that might mean whoever wins this, because I'm also thinking like whoever loses this might want a rematch at Fastlane that's more fair and square. But I don't know if my heart is saying Cesaro. But I do
think something's gonna happen, huh?
But I do feel like Cesaro's the only person in this match that has like a target on his back from someone who's outside the chamber as well.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, well, no, you're right. I mean, because Sammy kind of got himself. I mean, he's not even wearing the shirt anymore, so he's officially out of the IC hunt.
So, in my opinion, it's King Corbin and Sami Zayn are not going to win this match for sure.
They could have easily replaced those two with like, Shinsuke and somebody.
Lindsay Dorado, for all I care.
Right. Lindsay Dorado gets the win. But this is the moment.
I'm sorry, but the funny thing is Lindsay is like on Raw, and we'd still accept it.
The thing is too with Cesaro, this is the moment where they pull this off every year. Is they give someone the special gauntlet moment, right?
Yeah, true. That Iron Man. Yeah, right.
And this is perfect for someone like Cesaro, who's probably going to go back to being a mediocre mid-card guy just by next month. So I'm going to go Cesaro for 1 point.
But he's going to be more well paid, according to his new deal. So he's a little bit more happier now.
I'm going to say Cesaro for 1 point, and hopefully
I can see Owens later being that Iron Man too, based on the narrative they've been booking for him lately. But so you're going Cesaro.
Yeah.
How many points was that?
1.
And Mac, who you got coming out of the chamber?
Now, see, everything you said was what went into my mind.
The island of relevancy is waiting.
Because I'm like, okay, King Corbin, we don't want to see Roman Corbin again, even if it is two different characters. Sami Zayn.
Well, heel on heel is never going to be.
No, Sami Zayn. He tried to inject himself into the Roman Edge situation, and he couldn't. They didn't even touch him. Jey Uso dispatched him. So
Jay is just so great at his job.
He kicked the shit out of that man.
He did.
But then,
and then had knowing he had to tag with him later that night. He's like, don't give a goddamn.
Like, get your ass out the ring. That was great.
Oh man.
Kevin Owens, we've seen that enough. I think. I don't know if they want to go there one more time. I think that well might be dry. Daniel Bryan, and Cesaro are who stick out to me.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan.
The Daniel Bryan conversation with Edge.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was pretty. I mean, because I didn't even really think about that as a possibility.
Yeah.
But then also you think about, you know, all the high hopes he had for Mania or for Rumble. He may have not won a Rumble, but he can still come back and win another Mania. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it'll still be just as big, and they'd market it just as big.
And you know what? Like, Daniel Bryan versus Edge at Mania, even though, like, it should be Roman, Daniel Bryan versus Edge at Mania is not a bad idea. If Daniel Bryan loses here, gets a rematch at Fastlane, and just to get it Fastlane a big pop on Peacock, Daniel Bryan beats Roman Reigns to face Edge at Mania. Now, that's not going to happen.
I was going to say, only because I was about to say, is Daniel Bryan the person that you think they see as the only one, as the foil of what Roman's in right now? Because he's on a roll right now. Like, it would have to be someone substantial. I'm not to say that Daniel Bryan can be that guy, but
you know what?
I feel like the wild card is Peacock, and to be honest, the WWE could just
selling points.
They could just phone it in and not make Fastlane mean anything. Like,
honestly, like they phoned it in on a lot of those Saudi Arabia shows too. You know what I mean? Didn't matter. Didn't mean they didn't get paid.
I think I was gonna pick Cesaro, and it would also have been my 1 point. But just to switch it up, so we don't have the same shit all the way through, I'm gonna go 1 point Daniel Bryan.
So Sami Zayn. No, I'm sorry. Daniel Bryan, 1 point. DB for the 1-pointer, and I think it's a unanimous Roman Reigns for the.
Yeah.
And I guess we just have to figure out. Let me see. What happened? Oh, I messed up my points. Okay, there it goes. Okay. So I got 5 points on Roman. How many points? Let me see. You got 2, 3. Oh, yeah, I think everyone's using their 5 point on Roman, right?
Yeah.
So
I was just double checking. I was like, everybody got theirs except for the 5.
I got an idea for you, Quincy.
What's going on?
If you want to pick Keith Lee, because you have Bobby Lashley at number 4, right? Yeah. And you have Drew at number 1. And I would say 95% Drew's probably going to win, unless they pull some weird shit. But most likely, it's Drew. Do you want to flip-flop? So if Keith Lee wins, you only get 1 point. But Drew gets your 4.
I think I had Keith Lee if he's in it, but I ended up going for Lashley for 4 points.
So you're not going to pick Keith Lee at all as like a backup?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just going to keep.
I see on this.
I don't want Baca to talk and have all these, technicalities and whatnot.
Well, the thing is, they could also set up for Keith Lee versus Bobby later down the line, too.
Damn,
like,
I just realized the Fiend should be coming back, right?
Speaking of the Fiend, they have the Raw Women's Championship on here with a TBA for Asuka.
Possibly.
But I do believe Dave Meltzer. Hold on. Yeah, see, the WWE has not officially announced the cancellation of the match, but right now Wikipedia, it's not there anymore.
Oh, word! Damn, Asuka can't. They don't. Asuka.
So do you guys want to do as a bonus point if they do that match? We could pick the winner of that match, or who do we think will be?
I'm going Asuka. I mean, I don't see Asuka. Like, I don't see her with no build right now losing to whoever they're going to put.
Anybody, huh?
Yeah.
The only person I could think of would be Charlotte or a returning Becky or a returning Ronda.
I don't know if they do a return at an Elimination Chamber. It's kind of it is interesting. I just don't know if they would think that Elimination Chamber is big enough for these returns, especially when there's not a whole lot of women representation on the card aside from the women's tag team championships.
I agree with you, but it's also the road to WrestleMania, so it's not like it's a.
That's true. Which, I mean, if there's any time for any type of surprises along the way, I mean, hey, look at Heath Slater and him freaking weekly going up against WWE legends and shit. I would have never thought that was gonna happen. Right. So yeah, I mean, weirder things have happened. Stranger people have showed up. First, hey, Carlito's done, huh?
Yeah, they said.
I think that was a one-off. I think it's probably what everyone thought MVP was going to do, but MVP just never left the building.
Right. He just kept showing up.
I got this idea. I've been telling you, Vince. I've been telling you. I got this idea, man. But thank God he stuck with it.
So it's like a business, but people get hurt.
So wrestling. Yeah, it's like wrestling. The hurt business. You know, I got the finesse, Vince. I trust you, pal. Thanks, Alvin. Hey, don't call me that. You're the only one that calls me that. Man. I mean, yeah, if we were to do it for Oscar, like I said, I would pick Oscar. I mean,
or do you just want to do like a? Is there going to be a return at Elimination Chamber? Yes or no? And if you shoot, and then if you get it right, you get a point.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the final two as well. That was another thing.
Bonus points.
Final two, I think, is going to be Cesaro. Oh, shit. I don't know. I was going to say Cesaro and Daniel Bryan to revisit that shit for SmackDown, but I can see it being Jey Uso and Daniel Bryan as well. I just can envision Roman being there at ringside, getting hot at Jey, like, what are you doing? Like, you know, you got to, you know, like, and giving him instructions to take out everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One thing my brother said, actually, when we were doing the Quincy Jones show, he said, I can see Jey winning. He's on the outside as they're lifting up the chamber. And then the match starts. It's up. It's not Jey, it's Jimmy. And he spears the wrong guy. And he's like, what the fuck? And then because, you know, Roman is close to them to know difference. Then all of a sudden, Jey hits him with the super kick and he actually wins. I was like, that would be nice.
That would be
bring back
cool.
The twin magic. You know what I mean? But
that would be pretty. I honestly thought, like, when they were doing the Jey Uso stuff way back in like September, that I remember I was telling you guys or whatever, I was like, no, like Jey Uso finally winning against Roman Reigns is a WrestleMania moment. Like if they want,
very true.
If they want to pull that off, like this is a good way of getting Jey Uso kind of involved. But the thing is, like I said, fucking Edge kind of ruins everything.
Low key.
Like,
we had some plans, but oh shit, it's Edge. Come on.
In my opinion, Edge should just be an empty match. He is an empty person. He hasn't been around. He hasn't built up anything. Like Edge is just an empty Royal Rumble winner. And since Drew McIntyre doesn't really have anything going on,
it does come off.
Drew.
It does come off more of a placeholder, just because in the spirit of WrestleMania, you got a big name like Edge, marquee match. It could be anybody, right? Yeah. The last I heard about Drew is they were thinking about him and Cena, low key, at Mania.
Sure, if they want to do that, that's fine. I don't give a shit.
I don't know why I don't care about Drew, bro.
I do care. like so this is my thing. I like Drew, right? I've liked him as what he's done as champion, but I mean, like, bro, when you have him go against Goldberg, it's like, okay, then what's next? You guys pitched it to be this huge feat that he couldn't overcome, and it's like now we're gonna put him in a match with 6 other guys or whatever, you know, or the 5 other guys, and we're gonna do the elimination. It's like, okay, but the way y'all keep building it, y'all are never gonna have a challenge big enough for Drew if he keeps, like, I mean, like, the only thing I could see is like him versus Strowman, but for Mania, fuck no.
And I think that's the thing with Drew, is outside of Randy Orton, he's had challenges, but he hasn't had feuds.
The only thing I remember is he had a feud with Almas like real early, and then he just like, that was it.
So I do think, like,
and yeah, and obviously Orton with that whole thing, but yeah, that's pretty much. I mean, him versus Lashley would be good.
I think that would be really good. Champion versus champion too.
Like, I mean, can you imagine if, like, say Keith Lee wins, if he ends up being in the match and he wins the United States Championship, that frees Bobby up for the world title?
I would really like to see that too.
Yeah, and you could do a quick little vignette of the Hurt Business in the back. MVP is like, all right, boys, we've been doing good. It's time for our yearly review. I think it's time for expansion. We had certain assets come and go, but it's time to look at the big picture. And he flips the card back, and it's the WWE Championship, right? And then he's like, out of everybody here, I think our best bet is the CEO. And then everybody starts clapping for Bobby to, like, be the next man. And then they can start using the other 2 dudes to poke at McIntyre along the way, and then kind of build that feud of the whole Hurt Business versus McIntyre, setting up for that match at the end. You know what I mean?
Especially, and you could also have Bobby, like, upset. He's like, man, I lost the title for the Hurt Business, and then MVP's like, yo, I got this. Don't worry about that.
Yeah,
and he's recruiting Keith Lee on the side, so he can still bring the United States Championship back into the Hurt Business while Bobby goes for the WWE Championship.
That's hard.
The reason I see that being an absolute possibility is just because, I mean, again, you know, Lashley said he'd be interested to bring him in, but I think during that match on commentary where MVP was on commentary, you know, he was playing his role, not acting too, shocked and impressed with Keith Lee because he has to, stay true and stay loyal to his client, right, with Bobby Lashley. But I feel like there was a lot of ways they could have went with that because, it's like he's not saying that Keith Lee isn't impressive, but he's like, yeah, but he's not better than Bobby. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it shows that he's still at least interested or at least intrigued by what Keith Lee can do. But I think it kind of came off like, okay, but we need to control that because if he is conscious of his own star power, we ain't going to be able to put a cap on it. He's going to try to get too big for his bridges. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Plus, I ain't gonna lie, man. If we ain't gonna let Keith Lee grow the beard, I mean, hey, no facial hair with a suit on, hey, that's cool. let's see Keith Lee with some 5-piece suits on, man. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, that would be sick, man. I think now is the time to capitalize on Bobby. This was probably the best version of Bobby that we've had.
Absolutely.
You know what I
mean? And one thing he said about that was like, when I was coming in, I was doing like the JBLs, the Booker T's, and going against these guys, and I was like kind of like one like kind of big move away or big progression away from getting there. Mm-hmm. And he feels that's where Keith is. Like Keith is putting up good numbers. He's he's well liked backstage. He's he's proven his keep. You know what I mean? He's earning his keep on the roster. And he thinks that like he's just one, whether you want to call it a tweak or maybe some people are like I know a bunch of great rappers, but they don't have a machine behind them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a great wrestler, but if he has a machine or something, some sort of type of support behind him, and that's all he needs to get to that next level.
Hey, he would fit in too. He would fit in with them. The way he even talks, I could see him playing that business role.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is him and Bobby eventually having to fall out, which I think that's the obvious way out of it is, him kind of either – I can see Keith, like if Keith has the United States Championship on a pay-per-view and then say Bobby's going up against Drew. Bobby loses, but say like Keith retains. Then he has more than enough right to be like, well, I want my match at so-and-so. You know what I mean? Where he can start getting a little bit lippy about certain things. You know what I mean? Which this is my, like, I'm with you when it comes to like stables and, brand warfare and stuff like that. It only works as long as the stable works. Mm-hmm. So I would hate for them to put somebody in there that is just going to be a slow burn to something, at the end. If they were really looking at putting Keith with them, I think it would be really good for him. But he eventually would need to break out. But this could very much be, and I don't want to make it the Black Evolution story, but you got MVP playing Ric Flair. You got Bobby Lashley playing Triple H. You got Keith Lee playing Batista. They knew Batista. And you could say, I guess, Cedric and Shelton are both like a shell of like a Randy Orton, whatever you want to call it. But remember, like Triple H was making sure that he kept Batista under his thumb because he knew if he was getting a little next. Bit, you know what I mean? So until he did the whole thumbs up, thumbs down thing, I could see them going that way with Keith Lee later down the line.
Also, keep in mind too, I think the Shelton Benjamin Cedric stuff is going to lead to one of them leaving the group. So I believe so. I think it might go down to 4 people again. I think they're going to keep Cedric over Shelton.
Yeah,
I would, but the thing is I wouldn't team MVP with Cedric because I would still want them to have a stranglehold on the tag division, to be honest.
I would too, but they're already planting those seeds. That's what's.
Yeah, shit. Hey, MVP was still wrestling the other night after he hurt his leg. So
man, it was that. What was that injury? I never got a chance to look it up.
He's keeping it close to the vest.
Okay, because it looked like he was soldiering through it, bro. Like
yeah, because bro, you see someone was like, "Oh man, MVP is not as fast as he used to be," and they used that clip of him doing the ball and elbow. He's like, "Yeah, you tried, wrestling on one good leg," and I was like, "What happened?" So I had to rewind to see.
Yeah, it looked like an ACL, MCL, some shit like that.
I mean, he was on Raw Talk with some crutches, but he wasn't complaining. He was still at Raw Talk. You know what I mean? So who knows? I mean, I just know that. Let's just pray. Let's all pray that it's not Leon Ruff. No, I can see someone like Swerve coming into the fold. I mean, I saw. I mean, they ain't really.
Swerve needs something. He needs something.
I mean, what he was doing with Ruff on NXT, I dug the character work because he was just shying him off and like, man, you ain't no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was talking that truth, like, yo, you keep getting this TV time. I got a scratch and claw on 205. You've been having these high quality matches with Gargano and Priest. I ain't getting no, you know what I mean? So I can see him eventually. I mean, I guess people got to turn heel to show us their great acting skills.
That's really the best way to do it, bro. You just gotta be an asshole.
No, and real talk is because I thought Bailey was done for. Like I could not see her. Yeah, I could not see her as a heel. Like I was like, after all this work, I'm like, I don't know. But she's done her thing, man. But
yeah, I had to crack a smile watching Ding Dong Hello.
Yeah, man.
I love that she makes everyone walk through the door.
Yeah, she's like, use the door.
That shit. I just watched this. It reminds me of APA, where it's like, what are you born in the barn? Use the door.
And then the fact that she knocked the plant over.
That shit was
when she came through.
We need a better ficus next time.
Yo, and then when Reggie came in, she was like, use the door. Like being like, what do you? And
he's like, I'm a gentleman. He's like, I'm a gentleman.
She was like, all right.
Because I was wondering, because I heard him say something about trying to be gentleman-like. I'm like, for what? What you doing? I'm like, oh, okay. He over here getting it's the little things.
Like that shit was funny. Little stuff like that was funny.
But I want to thank y'all for taking time out and making time for the show, man. Man, no Baca. This is just
smoothing. We got through everything we wanted to talk about.
Got a real objective show going. You know what I mean? Got some real actual just some real straight up positive conversations going. You know, but yeah, man. Shout out to everyone that's been watching the show, man. This is For the Love of Wrestling. Feel free to follow us on social media. That is Flow Wrestling Show and also Flow Wrestling Pod on Twitter. You can also every week we drop content, man. It's gonna be on the YouTube channel. And also the audio, of course, you can catch on the Young Baca Productions podcast network. You guys got anything going? You guys want to promote anything? By all means, man. I mean,
just the Awkward Side Hug podcast.
Awkward Side Hug podcast, for sure.
You can find that on Apple Music, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts.
Mac,
if you want to, I don't really be talking about nothing, but if you want to, you can follow me at Mac Lowe on all your social media. It's Mac Lowe, a.k.a. Drew Blackentire, a.k.a. Macho Mac. Cali Savage, and I'll see y'all when I see y'all.
I like that Macho Mac, man. I do. I really do. Doc Lesnar, you better step it up. You only got one, all right? I got KJ Styles. I'll be going by Quincy Omega sometimes.
That's hard.
I'll be doing some stuff, but it's been a while. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody watching. Once again, it's been the Flow Show For the Love of Wrestling, and we are out. Peace.